Hey everybody, a little one on Wirecast Wednesday and Website Wednesday. I'm Eric, there's Sarah, there's Alyssa, and we've got website stuff to talk about. It's a hot topic for us right now, and Alyssa has some really good ideas about how your website can get improved. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, she has 10, right, Alyssa?
Yes, 10 today.
So we're gonna pin Alyssa's video so she's front and center. And here's how you can get your school website much better than it currently is.
Okay, so hey guys, last week we talked about 5 ways you can improve your website right now, and I had mentioned that today would be very similar. It's just that we would take those 5 points and break them down, so that's kind of the goal today. So if some of this stuff sounds familiar, that's because it is, because repetition is a really good thing to get information to stick. So we're talking about 10 tips to improve your website. So the first one I wanted to talk about is one that I hear complaints about a lot, and that is a fast-moving website. I know a lot of you guys are out in rural Nebraska, and Wi-Fi probably isn't the number one thing your school can supply just because of your location. So it can be hard to have a fast-moving website, but it actually is something that you can control, if you can believe it or not. If you have bad Wi-Fi, that's not something I can fix, but you can switch hosts. And what a website host does is they are like the database that houses all of your information, like your IP address, your DNS number, things like that. But certain companies are better than others when it comes to hosting your website. So if you want to keep that in mind, I would consider maybe looking at who's hosting you and talking to them about if part of the reason your website is so slow is because of them. They'll probably say no. But I know that the company that we use to host websites is one of the best, and so that definitely helps our school sites run smoothly. They also do things like monitor people if they're trying to hack your website, or if somebody gets into your website and you didn't want them to. They do security. They do all kinds of monitoring. So yes, in fact, you can, to some degree, control your website speed. So moving on to the second one, I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Less is more on all your pages. Excess information just makes a site look cluttered and kind of unorganized, and it can be really hard to find information if that's the case. But this also could be another reason why your website is so slow. If you have a ton of outdated content that's not really serving a purpose and it's sitting on your website, every single time someone reloads any page, the entire website has to reload all that information. So part of the reason your website might be slow is because you have a ton of old content on there, especially if you have old videos or old photos. Those take up a lot of storage, and just like if your phone's moving slow because there's too much stuff on it, a website will do the same thing. So yes, so less is more on pages. It looks better. It helps your website function better. And then the third thing I was going to talk about was some focused color schemes, which I know we touched a little bit on last week. As I've noticed that as I do websites for schools, this is one of the easier things to control because you guys do have set colors, and they're usually really standard colors, which is nice because it makes it easy to kind of manipulate them. So that being said, if you have one color scheme, so let's say your colors are black and gold, if you use those throughout mixed in with a little bit of white, it really helps your brand. But I would never suggest using all black backgrounds and yellow text because that can be really hard to read. But it's just nice to implement your school colors for a little bit of accent colors. You don't necessarily have to use them as the only colors, but it definitely helps brand your website. So yeah, that's all I've got to say on colors. I think you guys probably get that one. But moving on, again, this is something I said last week, but don't have any dead pages or dead links. It's just not helpful to have a website that has only outdated information. And again, dead pages and dead links could be another reason why your website is going slow, just because it's something the website has to load that doesn't necessarily need to be there. So yeah, just keep those updated, keep those clean. The fifth thing I was going to touch on is essential social media. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. If you're not active on social media, then you don't necessarily need to put it on your homepage just because it's not getting updated. And so just like I've been saying, if it's not getting updated, you probably shouldn't highlight it. But if you are keeping it up to date, it's a great feature to put on your homepage so that people can log on to your website and see all the information on your website and then some, because most of the time what you're posting on social media is something students, parents, and community members should know. So keeping that up to date on your website is a great idea. And then on top of that, you can put them on the top of your website, like on the very top. You'll see those little icons on the top right most of the time. And it's usually the little Twitter bird and the little Facebook icon. So that's a great option if you use your social media a lot, or if you don't, because you can still have a way that it's accessible, but it doesn't have to be front and center. Number 6 is that you need to have a menu that makes sense. In the blog post, I believe I say something like navigation, navigation, navigation. It's really important that this all flows smoothly, because this is how all of your viewers find all the content. It can be really hard to get what you need to get what you need to get if you don't know what you're looking for. So the best way to do a website is to have your top header menu have the most broad description you possibly can. So things like district, staff, teachers, students, and contact us are usually the ones I recommend, just because everything else usually falls under one of those categories. In some cases, if a website has a lot of external links, I'll make a links one too, just so there's a drop-down menu of all the websites that they can get to from the site. And that usually keeps things a little cleaner as well. But when you have things like district, you can put all kinds of things under that are related to the district, and they fit nicely. So you can do things like your handbooks and your superintendent contract, contact information, board minutes, board meeting, board members, all kinds of things like that fit under a district title, rather than having 20 different items all across a website going in 2 different rows. That can be really hard to navigate sometimes. And again, it goes back to not being clean. So yeah, a navigation is just really important, because that's where you house most of your information. Number 7 is one that I feel like people don't think about very often. And I would just ask you, can your website go mobile? School websites used to always just be desktop, and that's great, and they still should be fully functional on desktop. But a lot of the time people are on the go and don't have their laptop or computer. So you actually can control your website's mobile view. And that just means when you open it on your cell phone and you scroll, it still has all the information, and all that information is still organized. A lot of the times what happens is your website has an auto filter function. And so it just automatically makes it look mobile, but it doesn't do any of the formatting. And sometimes your menu doesn't fit quite right in mobile, because all of the sizing is different, obviously. Your photos sometimes don't fit quite right because they are on a desktop version. So just, if you get a chance, I would log on to your school's website from a smartphone or a tablet and just see if that's all looking okay, because you can manipulate it so that way it looks a certain way on desktop and a certain way on mobile. Number 8, the website should tell your story. And I know I talked a little bit about this last week, but what's the point of your school website if it's not telling everybody who you are? It's a great marketing tool. If I'm moving to your district and I'm trying to figure out the school system, an easy to navigate website is extremely helpful for new people in the community. It should be able to tell your mission and vision statements, your athletic programs, your activities, your teachers, maybe enrollment. All of the information is very helpful. And so if you can show that, that's really great. Number 9 is a general theme. And I'm going through these kind of quickly, but that's because I'm going to show you some examples in a little bit. But if any of this sounds overwhelming, there's actually this great feature on WordPress, and it's called themes. We do them for all of our websites at Strive. It's basically a website all in one. So everything that I've covered, a theme just gives you automatically. So you purchase a theme, and it's just a general layout of how things are going to look. And so it's kind of like a pre-designed website, and then you get to customize all of it. So you can customize the colors like we talked about. You can customize your social media, your pictures, your menu. So it's basically just a very general format, and then you fill it in with your information. But it's something we work with every single website that we do here. And it definitely helps keeps things organized, and don't code anything. It's a lot of dragging and dropping. And there's almost so many options in a theme it's overwhelming because you don't even have to do you don't have to do all of them, but the majority of the features are helpful. So themes make a big difference. They keep your story on brand, your colors, all your pictures. But yeah, they're a really great tool. And then number 10, if you take anything away from this, all of these tips are applicable to your home page. That is your most important page on your website. It's your landing page. If people log on and see a bad homepage, they're automatically going to assume the rest of the website's a mess. But if they see a good homepage, then they're at least going to stick around and try and find the information they're looking for. So take all these tips and take a look at your homepage and decide if that's working, and then go from there. So what I was going to do today, because I felt like I didn't last week, was give you guys an example of what a great website looks like. This is Freeman Public Schools. They did an amazing job of customizing it. So I'm just going to share my screen with you really quick and kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is their homepage. I bet you can guess what their colors are right off the bat, blue and silver. I love that they used their logo right here. That looks really good and definitely gives them a brand. And then they were able to incorporate it in their header photo right here. Just like I said, a menu is super organized, and that looks great. They have a district, all kinds of things under here that make sense. You can get to all their high schools and preschools and all of that information right here. They even have something for the community, so it sounds like they're fairly involved with that, and so that's great that they made an extra tab for you to find that information. Activities, you can get to everybody's information right here, same with athletics. You've got your school board over here, which looks like it might be an external link, which is awesome. So just like I talked about telling your school story, they have their mission and vision statement right here, and that looks really good too. And then right here you can get to their social media, which is great because it looks like they're pretty active. This is something a lot of school websites do as well. They have student portals, teacher portals, and parent portals. Oh, and I just clicked on it. So basically what it is it's just, this is a student portal. This is information that's probably pertinent to students specifically. And so you can get to it right from their homepage. So it looks like they've got things like your schedules, a calendar, lunch menu. You can get to Power School, our Strive channel, all kinds of important information. So moving on, again, one of my favorite things about, oh, look, they don't have school today. One of my favorite things about Freeman's is that they show their school history on their homepage. It's just another great way to personalize your site and tell their story. So they've got a new photo here of what the school looks like now compared to what it looked like back then. They've got a little message. I think it's from their principal down here. This is another great way to personalize your site, kind of like what I was saying. If I log on and I want to see just a little bit more information about your school. So it tells you how many staff members work there, their student enrollment, their graduated students, and their staff with post-bachelor degrees. So this just kind of gives me a general information of what I'd be getting myself into if I was looking to go to school there, and so some of that information is really helpful. Again, they've got their social media right on their homepage, which is awesome. They can share their lunch menu on their homepage. You can embed your Google Calendar so people can see it on your homepage. And then these buttons are just external links that will take you to all these websites, which is really helpful. And it looks like they even have a YouTube channel. So yeah, I use Freeman's because I know they do a great job of utilizing all of the tools available to them and then highlighting them in an efficient way on their homepage. So you can get to their YouTube channel from their homepage. And then they even go as far as to doing announcements and blogs down here at the bottom, which is awesome because a lot of the times I see schools with the announcement bar going across the top, kind of like a bank sign. And a great way to replace that is by doing blogs. And you can make them as simple or as easy as you want. It looks like sometimes they write a little story, but like, for example, if you wanted to say school is closed, you would just go into a blog post and write school canceled and then put the time and date in the text box, and you could just put them on your news and they'd pop up right on your homepage. Down here, they've got some quotes from teachers about working at Freeman, which is awesome. Gives them a nice little marketing plug. And then down here is their core concepts. And this is just some of the things they value as a school district. So again, they took a lot of time to tell their school story on their homepage, which I think is awesome. They definitely thought about what what they wanted to look like on the internet, and I love that. And then down here, they've just got their phone, fax, address, and their social media links again. So going off of that, I just think there's a lot of great examples out there of schools that are doing a great job with websites. And Freeman does a great job of covering all 10 of those. So if you're looking for an example of something to follow, Freeman's a great one. Broken Bow Public Schools has a very nice website. So does Amherst. So does Winnebago. We've done a lot of them, but just off the top of my head, those are some great examples if you're looking for something new. So hopefully those 10 tips can help you guys kind of get a gauge on where you're at with your site and some of the things that maybe need updated or changed, or maybe you're feeling good about it, and that's awesome. But if you have any questions or any clarifying statements or something I didn't cover, please don't hesitate to email me. Email Strive, they'll get it to me. But yeah, that's all I've got today.
Coming soon to Strive is a new reality series. It's called Website Rescue, where we'll talk to your school administration and yell at you for how bad your website is sometimes.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I will definitely do a consultation if you need it.
She is available for those kinds of things. So yeah, still in the car. Ben's still driving, and I want to have Sarah real quick. I'm going to pin your video, Sarah, so that you can talk real quick about the summit coming up on Monday. Wow, we got some kids coming now, huh?
Yeah. Okay, just making sure I'm live here. Okay. Yeah, our summit next Monday is here in Lincoln at our office. If you've been to any of our conferences in the barnyard, which is downstairs, you'll be familiar with the space. We have, probably like 50 coming. We're really excited to welcome 35 students that Brenda will be coming, and so that she will be bringing. So yeah, Jeff and Alec are Strive alum. They will be sharing their story. They are freshmen at UNL doing great things. Here in Lincoln, they're announcing they have internships, and then Professor John Schrader, who is also their professor, they have him for a class. They had him last semester and this semester, and I just got off the phone with him because he will also be speaking, but he was just giving them so many compliments about how well they're doing at UNL and how excited he is for them and how they are like the model student that they want at journalism school. So those were his words, not mine, but made me even more excited to have all three of them here to talk. Like I said, this is going to be kind of like a conference feel that we do usually every year, but we want it to be also laid back and have the opportunity to talk and ask questions. I built in time for networking, so I have some questions arranged, but I'm also looking forward to people asking questions and continuing that conversation. So once again, this will be live streamed. An email will be coming out probably tomorrow or Friday about that. Don't want to do it too soon because we still want you here in person, but of course you can catch that live, and I'm sure we'll be recording that as well. So you can tune in anywhere and ask questions, of course. That would be awesome. I'm excited to see how that works out. Looks like the weather's going to be okay. It's going to be cold and windy, but no snow yet. Please. We've had troubles with that in the past. Taylor totaling his car on the day of a conference, so hopefully none of that happens. But
that was not fun. I want my life to flash before my eyes.
Yeah, and I panicked because we had a full room and it was just me. But excited for that. And a second note, Academy. Technically the application is closed, but it's never really closed because we like to accept and invite students all the time. We are cranking through interviews. We are almost done and going to get started. So I guess that's kind of a last call. If you're still filling out an application or thinking about Strive U Academy, sign up and we'll schedule something. And just even talk about it if you aren't sure. Of course, you have my email, but you can always, my phone number is at the bottom of my email, so you can always send me a text or give me a call. So yeah, excited about that. And then Summit. And I guess right around the corner then is state basketball. I was just looking at the calendar and could not believe that it is the first weekend in March. So.
Wait a minute. We got state wrestling first.
Oh gosh, yes we do.
That's why Ben and I are in Omaha. Actually, we got some fun stuff with state wrestling that is coming down the pipe. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
It'll be fun. We will have more to announce, I'm sure, coming up very soon.
Awesome. Yeah. Are we going to do any sort of Zoom session for that, Eric, or anything specific with wrestling?
Wrestling Wednesdays.
Wrestling, Wrestling Wednesdays. Sure. I wasn't necessarily planning on it, but we can. I think we did that actually for state basketball last year. Kind of talked about what we were going to do. So for anybody that's curious about state basketball this year or state wrestling this year, that Zoom from last year that we talk about state basketball would probably be a pretty good one to watch and kind of get a gist of what we try to pull off. It is a whole lot of stuff happening in a very short amount of time for 3 days and each week for 2 weeks. And then we're going to do kind of the same thing for state wrestling this year too. So pretty excited about that. But we'll have more about that coming up. We'll probably do a Zoom about that. And website stuff. Sorry, I dropped my laptop there. Website stuff. Get a hold of Alyssa, or like she said, if you don't have her email, it's Alyssa@strive.tv, or you can email any of us at Strive, and we'll make sure that we get the email to the right place. And ladies, if you guys don't have anything else, I think Ben has just about got us safely to our destination. So we will call this a good day, and we'll get the recording up for you and let everyone else watch, since nobody else is watching this live anyway. So till next week, and a Wirecast or website, it'll be a Wednesday. We know that.